And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. You know who we are, you know why we're here. Let's get down and dirty in episode 37. It's like a no-holds-barred type shit, Josh. I mean, every time we come to this, it's like, we're here. We're going to beat some ass. We're going to talk some dirt.
Hells yeah, man. We're going to get, like you said, down and dirty in the dirt.
I would hope by this point people know who we are. I mean, we've only been doing this now for the better part of like 12 fucking years.
It's true. I mean, there was quite a gap there.
I mean, there was a gap, but at the same time, it's like this is Off the Ropes with John and Josh. One of us is clearly John. One of us is clearly Josh. If you've watched the episodes, you know who we are.
That is very true, and I hope that you guys are ready to talk some wrestling with
But before we talk wrestling, we've got the part of the show Josh likes the most, breaking kayfabe.
That's right, folks, breaking kayfabe. Breaking. It's all over the place. It's breaking, it's broken.
One of these times, me and you are going to sit down, and for both sets of shows, we're going to come up with, like, all these little things, like with breaking kayfabe, it'll be like the glass smashing from, like, Austin, and you can get, like, an effect where it's like, breaking kayfabe.
I'll have to come up with some sort of video for that. I think
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like
just one day we're doing the show and you're like, it's time for breaking kayfabe, and I hit the button and it's like breaking.
That's what I'm saying. And like for How I Met Your Mother, for like the Barney's blog, it'll be like the Barney's blog. Suit up, bitches.
That's right.
Bitches.
I mean, I don't know if I'll do an echo on that one.
No, I would totally echo bitches because that'd be great.
All right. So, let's get into some news. I pulled a few stories out of the news bucket, so to speak.
I mean, there's some good shit going on in the news for wrestling right now. I mean, there's a lot of things like circling the bucket. That's
true. So, let's get into the first one. It's kind of big, I think. McMahon versus McAfee at WrestleMania? What's happening here, John?
So I read this story earlier this morning, and the first thing that came to my mind was this has to be a fucking joke. Because for one, Vince McMahon's in like his 70s at this point, and Pat McAfee's in like his 30s, maybe 40s.
Yeah,
and I'm like, first off, Pat McAfee can still move in the ring. I don't even think Vince McMahon can like walk down the entranceway.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm like really torn on like why McAfee versus McMahon.
Yeah, the why, I don't know, man. Apparently he's going to be on McAfee's podcast doing an interview. And I didn't know this, but this is apparently the first interview that he has done since he did the one with Austin in 2014.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that maybe it's how they're going to start the feud too.
Yeah, that's the rumor, is that it's going to start there. That's where the storyline is going to start. Because apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, take it with a grain of salt always, but
I will say he's
apparently
better,
that is true. Apparently on their internal schedule, McAfee and McMahon at Mania is part of what they're building toward. So it's interesting. I don't necessarily care, but I'm glad that it's not like, okay, either McAfee or McMahon are going to be going up against a big name and taking a spot. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
Whatever. Like,
I will say
just
this:
the two of them doing something. I don't care.
I know Mania is supposed to be 2 days again this year, which, be it as it will, I guess Mania becoming a 2-day thing is becoming a thing of its own. But I'm like, this is a match that could have went to somebody else though who doesn't have a match, or could have really used it. Okay, prime example. Cesaro. But oh wait, WWE dropped the ball with that one.
That's true. And speaking of, obviously we don't care that much about McMahon and McAfee. If it happens, it happens.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. Exactly.
But the story that is definitely more interesting than this one is Cesaro leaves the WWE.
And quietly.
He didn't get released. He chose to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, his contract was up and he decided not to renew it, man. Which, honestly, can't say I fucking blame him. Name the last big thing WWE did with him.
I couldn't tell you.
And that's
I think the last thing I really remember him doing stuff was like when he was like doing stuff with Sheamus
as the Bar.
Yeah, I don't even know what else he was doing.
He had one big feud after that, and that was his feud with Rollins when they were like, the big. He was hitting the big numbers with the swing.
Yeah,
but yeah, right. Before
I forgot. Yeah, they were counting, and because I remember the one show they totally miscounted.
I'm pretty sure that was Mania.
Was it Mania? Because they were like, oh yeah, he broke his record. He got 23, and I was like, no, he got 19, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna say this because like this needs to be said out loud and addressed. Cesaro is somebody who should have been a multi-time champion. And I'm not talking intercontinental United States. I'm saying that man was robbed. He should have been a WWE champion or a Universal champion.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. But instead, they keep giving it to like freaking Brock Lesnar over and over again.
I mean, yeah. I will say, hopefully, with Cesaro backing out of the WWE, he will find himself. I think, honestly, Impact would be a great place for him. Yeah. AEW is starting to get like over full of talent. I want to start seeing some guys show up in like NWA, Impact, New Japan. Wherever Cesaro goes is going to be fucking whoever gets him is going to be blessed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, I'll check out wherever he goes just because he's always a good watch.
He's an amazing person to watch. Yeah. He's got great in-ring personality. His promos are untouchable.
Do you think he'll go back to his like regular name?
Claudio Castagnoli?
Yeah.
I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping that Cassius Ohno comes out of his funk, gets himself back into a little better shape, and we can see the Kings of Wrestling reunite.
That would be pretty awesome.
I was talking about this the other day, especially with the invasion angle going on in Impact right now with the Ring of Honor shit. Mm-hmm. Kings of Wrestling are big parts of the Ring of Honor heritage. It would be really cool to see them just show up and join that feud.
That would be pretty dope, man. Have the two of them show up in Impact. Okay.
Not taking away from the Cesaro story, but if you've been following this Ring of Honor invasion, they just had a huge swerve going on over there where Eddie Edwards turned on Impact.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that clip where he took out Rhino, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people were like, "Oh, but he was jumped backstage." And I'm like, "Yeah, but nobody actually saw him get jumped." It was a huge swerve
it's like, come on, that's not the first time that story angle has been used.
Right?
In wrestling. Like,
and I'm like, come on, people. So he was laid on the floor backstage. Like, I can't just lay down right now on my floor and be like, oh my God.
I'm pretty sure WWE has used that multiple times.
Dude, every wrestling company has used that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, but if you don't see it, even if you see it happen, that doesn't mean anything. That could have been a fix.
That is true as well. That is 100% true.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Cesaro leaving the WWE, I don't think it was a bad thing at all. I think for his sake and his peace of mind, I think it was probably one of the smartest things he could have done.
Yeah, I think it's a loss for the WWE, but not a loss for Cesaro. They just were not using him well.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it really a loss for the WWE, though? Because they were underutilizing him anyway.
I mean, I think it is because they're losing such a great talent. The fact that they didn't know how to use them, that's on them.
True.
To me, it's still a loss for them, even if they don't realize it.
That's fair. I can respect that.
You know what I mean?
When you say it like that, it makes more sense.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll find a good place to settle. I like the idea of the Impact stuff with him and Ono.
Hell yeah, man!
I think that would be awesome. So we'll see what happens. All right, our next story, we got Jeff Hardy, one of John's favorites here. Says he's heading to AEW. Jeff was after one of his recent concerts. He got interviewed by a fan. And during this interview, he said that he is going to AEW and that he's excited about this new chapter. John, what are your thoughts? I know it's been kind of, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, that it's kind of been an open rumor.
Oh, yeah.
For a while now, but.
Well, I mean, it's funny, too, because, everybody pretty much assumed he was going to AEW. It's been, Matt's there, Matt's doing everything. Yeah. But it's really funny because Matt is starting to pull away from the house of like Hardy.
Yeah.
And like it's like everybody's like, well, why? It's because if Jeff comes back, he's not going to need the Hardy Foundation. He's going to just kind of like go his own way.
And you sent me a video of him doing the delete thing after a match, I guess.
For those of you who haven't seen it, after one of Matt's segments this week in AEW, he was walking up the ramp, and when he got to the top of the ramp, he started doing the delete, 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 and the fans were just fucking going crazy with it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if Jeff and Matt pull out the broken gimmick there, and Jeff's allowed to be like Brother Nero and Matt's broken Matt Hardy again,
yeah,
I can tell you this now, WWE will shit bricks.
Yeah, buddy. Like that, man. Just the thought of everything happening outside of the WWE, it's like that gets me kind of excited. All that kind of stuff that we're kind of getting news about. I'm like, I really want to see them get back together and do the broken.
It's funny because them going back to the WWE when they did made sense. They were in that whole proclamation of we're going to win tag team titles everywhere we go. And the WWE was going to be an end chapter for them. And they had both said at the time they were going to retire in the WWE. And then they went there. And, of course, you know, they get split up again because that's what we do with the Hardys. Because why the fuck would you just keep them together and let them do their thing? And then they're like, and then they split them, and then Matt ends up back in a tag team anyway.
Yeah. They totally fucked that whole thing, man.
I mean,
they had a good thing bringing them in and like a good opportunity, and they, as usual, bungled the whole fucking thing.
Well, and that's the thing. So it's like now, if Jeff ends up in AEW, I mean, he looks good right now. He looks better than he's looked in a long time.
Yeah.
You know he's staying clean. And the funny thing is WWE is now trying to like redact on everything they had said before, and now they're trying to say that Jeff's tests were coming back negative. Yeah. And it's like, first off, you motherfuckers, you're going to try and redact on what you said. And this is after you were like, oh, Jeff, come to us. Let us put you in the Hall of Fame. Let us help you. And Jeff was like, okay, sure. Well, what about Matt? And they were like, no, we're not talking about Matt. We're talking about Jeff Hardy. And Jeff's like, it's me and my brother. It's either both of us or neither of us. And they were like, well, we really, really want you. And he's like, there's the fingers. I'm gone. Peace. And then they were like, oh, well, Jeff Hardy's a druggie. Jeff Hardy does drugs. Motherfuckers, his drug test already came back. And his true fans stood fucking by him.
Yep.
And this is why I'm saying, like, I can respect the WWE as an entity doing what they're trying to do to survive, but you don't shit on your fucking talent.
Yeah, they're gonna get what's coming to them, I hope, and hopefully our main topic will lead to that. But we're not there yet, folks.
Not yet, not quite.
All right, so our last news topic is an interesting one, I think. CM Punk going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. I thought that was pretty cool news. What about you?
I mean, I thought that was great news. Yeah. I didn't think that they were going to honestly do anymore with like the Hall of Fame for them because, you know, everything's up in the air for Ring of Honor right now. Like, what's going on with them? I'm glad to see that they're getting some time in over at Impact and stuff like that. But I mean, they also just did that Terminus show where a lot of the you know,
I heard about that. Yeah.
So like I know like shit's still going on for Ring of Honor, and that's great for them. I know the Hardys just called out the Briscoes, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. Like you said, I like that Ring of Honor still around, even though it doesn't have like a home.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like that cousin that calls you and says, I need to crash on your couch for a week, but you know it's probably going to be like 3 months.
Yeah, pretty much. So like we're getting like the Hall of Fame. We're seeing them do stuff in Impact and other places. And so like they're still around. They're still a thing. And I love that. I hope that we get more of you know the spread of Ring of Honor.
Yes. Yes.
The infection is spreading, John.
They're going to make a sandwich with themselves, just kind of weave themselves wherever they can.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So that is all of the news for this. So we're going to get into it's not, I guess it's technically the main show, but it's not the main topic.
It's the main show.
That's right. It is. It is the main show. And we have one little thing, it's kind of little, but whatever, that we're going to talk about before we get into the main topic.
Little. You said it was a good size.
And that is Elimination Chamber 2022.
Yeah.
We've been off since that has been on, so figured we kind of go through the results and just kind of talk a little bit about it and everything.
Some of it was predictable. Some of it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There was some shit that happened that I thought was like interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. 8 matches total. They had one pre-show match, which I like to see that they had a pre-show match. I'm just saying. It was
pre-show.
Because if you're gonna make people sit through an hour of pre-show, give me a goddamn match. I sat through the fucking Rumbles pre-show for nothing.
That's why I don't watch the pre-show.
It's like, give me a match at least. Most of them give us a match, The
way I look at it is that the pre-show does nothing for me except for one match, usually. And that's because everything you see in the pre-show, you're going to see again. Except for people talking about their opinions on who's going to win. Yeah. And 90% of the time, they're being told what to fucking say. So I don't fucking care.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Usually I'm just there for the match and to see if anything funny pops
That's fair.
But we had Rey Mysterio defeating The Miz. So I was like, oh, okay.
On the pre-show?
Yeah, on the pre-show.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. What are your thoughts about that happening on the pre-show? It seems like you're a little shocked there.
I mean, 2 really high up talents and pre-show.
Yep, pre-show, baby.
Wow.
I get it was just a basic singles match. Like, there was another match that happens later on in the night that I'm like, just looking at the 2 talent, I was like, okay, I could have seen that being it. But then you look at it's a stipulation match, so that's
fair.
So then we had Roman. So the actual night started off with Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Roman wins via a technical submission. Goldberg passes out, and so apparently there was like a botch, I guess, during this at the end. I guess Goldberg was holding the rope.
Oh,
and the ref didn't break the hold. He was I guess he was like I guess because I didn't see it. But I guess Roman was handcuffed or some shit, and so he was like waiting for Heyman to like uncuff him or something. I don't know, but yeah, seems like a little bit of drama happening there. But
it's funny. Roman retained. So going into this match, I saw this tweet that said if Roman could beat Goldberg, he would have beat everybody who has been Universal Champion before him.
Okay.
And for one, I was like, okay, whatever. Cool. But then Wyndham responded, and Wyndham was like, take me off the fucking list.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh yeah, he's never officially beat. Like, yeah, he technically pinned Bray Wyatt and beat him for the title, but he wasn't technically a part of that match, like, originally. Oh. Like, he was shoehorned into the match and then beat him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I still think Bray'd fuck him up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Then we had Bianca Belair taking on Alexa Bliss, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash, and Rhea Ripley in the Elimination Chamber, with Bianca Belair taking the win here. What'd you think?
I mean, there was some interesting stuff that happened during this match. I looked up some highlights of this one because there were some things that I had heard that I wanted to see for myself. Like, for one, did you see that Alexa Bliss's pod had the swing in it?
Oh, yeah, I saw an image of that.
So she had the swing. Rhea Ripley, now mind you, all the women had to be fully covered. So it was weird seeing some of the outfit choices because, they had to be fully covered. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Fucking Rhea Ripley in her pod doing chin-ups, which is fucking badass. Kind of reminded me of the year that Dolph Ziggler was in the pod, and he was also doing chin-ups.
Yeah.
And I was like, but there was a scary moment where Liv Morgan went to the top rope, and Doudrop shoved her, and the way Liv came off the top, she turned, and she got caught up on the post. Ooh. And Doudrop one-handed lifted her off the fucking post and dropped her onto the ground so that she landed safe.
Yeah.
Oh, think about that. It could have been a severe injury. Mm-hmm. Doudrop not only protected her the way she needed to, but with one hand lifted her off and just dropped her.
I like Doudrop a lot.
Let me ask you this. Is Doudrop what WWE wanted Nia Jax to be?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. And the problem was Nia Jax never really got better.
No.
That's the problem. Like Doudrop was a great competitor before she came into main WWE when she was over in NXT UK.
I just want them to stop calling her Doudrop. I want her to go back, and I wanted her to do it in a promo where she's like, look, I want to be taken seriously. I want you people to stop calling me Doudrop.
Yeah.
My name is Piper Niven.
Nevin. That'd be awesome.
Well, Nevins, but yeah.
Nevin, yeah, that would be pretty awesome. But I doubt that they.
I mean, she's a badass wrestler.
Yeah.
She is a smoking, good-looking woman off of wrestling. Like, she's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like, that woman has it all. And she's going to be a future heavyweight champ, guaranteed. She's got years left on her career, lots of years.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what the fuck they're going to do with her.
Yeah,
and I think it's really.
Oh no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say it was just really cool to see that one moment in the chamber where Liv could have gotten seriously hurt.
Yeah,
and Doudrop in the moment still taking care of her and dropping her to the ground to make it look like she protected her and she took care of her. And it's really cool to see because sometimes you can't in the moment protect and still make it look like you're devastatingly slamming somebody to the ground.
It's true. Yeah. I really look forward to where her career goes. But what did you think about Alexa Bliss making it to the end, the final?
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was going to be the start of Alexa coming back to the title picture.
Yeah.
Since they're sliding her out of the dark, whatever she was in, the funk, Brainus, the Fiend.
Yeah.
But I was like, in all fairness, it's only right that Bianca Belair won because it's going to be Bianca versus Becky at Mania.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she deserves to have a real match with Becky for the title since Becky fucking crushed her.
Yeah.
And I understand why WWE did it. I'm past the Becky came back and won the match and it was all, oh my God, I get it. WWE was trying to make Becky a heel. They went about it in the wrong way, but they've gotten Becky where they need her to be.
Both of them just deserved a better match.
Yes.
In that instance. That's I felt bad for both of them because they both deserved better.
I had it explained to me in a way the other day, though, that made a lot more sense. Had the match been more of a contest, Becky wouldn't have gotten over as the heel.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
And I was like, no, because all they did was ruin Bianca Belair. And the person was like, well, yeah, and they did. They ruined Belair anyway because now she looks uncredible. Now she's supposed to go into this Mania match with Becky, and we're supposed to expect a legit match. But now at least Bianca could be like, well, I've prepared for this. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, she should have been prepared for a match anyway. But you can't be prepared for someone like Becky Lynch out of nowhere.
That's true. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get a damn good, essentially makeup match between them two at WrestleMania.
I don't think we'll see anything less than amazing from them. Because, I mean, Bianca put on a hell of a match last year's Mania with Sasha.
Yeah.
So.
It's true. Yeah. All right. Then, surprisingly, this match was followed by another women's match. We had Naomi and Ronda Rousey taking on Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville in a tag team match. Apparently, Ronda Rousey had to wrestle with one arm tied behind her back, and they still won via submission.
Oh, man.
It's just, I don't know how it all came about.
It's because Ronda Rousey had locked Sonya in that arm breaker, and I'm pretty sure like Sonya's arm wasn't 100%, so part of the stip was like, not to mention Sonya Deville's calling shots.
She puts the jacket on, and she's she's corporate or whatever. She's an executive, whatever the fuck.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is you get in the ring with Ronda Rousey, you're putting yourself in like you're putting yourself in God's hands because like I'm sorry for one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this way: you couldn't pay me to wrestle Ronda Rousey because one of two things is gonna happen. One, you're gonna get your ass beat. Two, you're probably getting locked in that arm lock at some point.
Oh my God, yeah.
And no matter what side of it, her green wrestling days behind her, she is a legit badass. I will give her that. Ronda Rousey is who she says she is. She will get in the ring and smack the spit right out of your mouth and not fucking care.
That's true. I may not like her. I will say she has gotten better since her previous run.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm interested to see where things go with her.
Well, and it's nice
no matter whether or not I like her or not.
We're getting a face Ronda this time too, so it's kind of different.
Yeah,
her and Becky have shifted the spectrums in the whole last times they were both here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting because like I like Ronda. I think she's talented. I think she's got potential. I just don't like the fact that they're going to Roman Reigns her. They're like, ooh, we have this pretty shiny toy. Its name is Ronda Rousey. You want to buy 5 of them? And you're like, no, I want Liv Morgan. And they're like, no. But guess what Ronda Rousey can do? No, seriously. Ronda Rousey can do anything Liv Tyler can do. Liv Morgan can do. And you're like, no. Liv Morgan's way better. And they're like, but Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, and I do not agree that Ronda Rousey can do anything that Liv Tyler can do. I'm just saying. She could not put on the same performance that we saw in Empire Records. I'm just
or Lord of the Rings. Because, I mean, what the fuck is sexier than an elf princess's sword, bro?
Very true. Very true.
Oh, man. I'm glad you just rolled with that and you didn't even try to correct, man.
Yep.
As soon as I said it, too, I was like, Liv Tyler. I'm like, what the fuck?
Then we got Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Dude, Madcap got fucked up in this match.
I'm surprised this match went on as long as it did.
I mean, I 100% agree. I'm still going with the fact, though. Did you see the botch?
I don't know.
Drew almost crippled Madcap.
Oh, did he?
He dropped him like right on the top of his fucking head. Like, it was bad.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I guess a lot of people even backstage were like, shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that kind of shit does happen. I don't know if Drew was being careless or if it's just something that happened.
I guess it was just something that happened. It wasn't purposely done. Like, I guess like both sides were like, it was an honest mistake. It could have happened to anybody. Yeah. Madcap wasn't pissed at Drew. Drew apologized his ass off.
That's good.
But it was still like it was scary looking.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this leads toward Drew kind of making his way back up because I liked him in the title picture. You know,
I liked Drew in the title picture.
It bums me out that he's kind of he has gone the route of the Miz. Yeah, rose to the top. And then sank straight back down to the bottom.
Yeah, the Miz. And where was he on this show again?
Yeah, the pre-show. Exactly. Exactly. So it's just like, it bums me out because I really like Drew McIntyre quite a bit. So I'm glad that he won. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Then we had the WWE Women's Title match: Becky Lynch versus Lita. Yeah, buddy.
I was really sad Lita didn't win, but I get why she didn't win.
I mean, I knew I kind of knew that was the way it was going to go. But Lita put on a hell of a show, man.
This was a great match.
She still got it.
Dude, so much still has it.
I hope that this is not the last time we see her in the ring.
I would agree. I hope the same thing.
Yeah, I want her to come back, have a nice run somewhere, sometime. I don't know when, how, but
I know recently she announced that she's probably retiring, like for good. But like, I hope not. I hope she's gonna at least stick around. Maybe 2 more matches.
Yeah, just get a good storyline. A decent running storyline. Just something fun. I would love to see that. But I mean, this is like the 3rd longest match of the night.
Yeah.
They put on a clinic, these two. So it's good stuff. Then we had the shortest match of the night, a 0-minute match, because it never technically started. The Usos versus the Viking Raiders, which ended in a no contest for the tag titles. So I want to get your thoughts on this.
I mean, I don't really know much about what happened as to why it was like no contest or anything. Yeah. But I think it's a shitty way to treat the fucking Viking Raiders. Yeah. I think they deserve way better than the match didn't start type bullshit.
Yeah, according to this, it says before the main event, Usos attacked the Viking Raiders before the tag match, sending a message to the Viking Raiders and the SmackDown team division. So they attacked them before the match actually started. So,
cowards.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, I feel like that just makes the Viking Raiders look like shit.
I honestly, they haven't done shit with the Raiders in a while anyway.
Like, I expect behavior like this from the Usos.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nothing new, but like, to not even let the Viking Raiders get a match in, it's like, come on, man. And it makes me wonder because I found out, I was reading some stuff about the main event, and it kind of had to get cut a little short because they were running low on time. And it makes me wonder, did they do this because they were running low on time? They're like, we got to cut your match.
Oh, that sucks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I have a feeling that may have been the case because we had the main event. We had the men's Elimination Chamber match. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth freaking Rollins. And so apparently when Lesnar came in, he busted out of the pod before he was supposed to. Apparently it was Bobby Lashley's turn, and he didn't realize that. And so, but his justification was, 1, he thought it was his turn. 2, he knew that they were short on time. So he's like, I'll just bust out. You know what I mean?
Fair.
And so and they wound up, Lashley wound up having getting injured, and they took him out of the match. And then I didn't realize this. Brock Lesnar pinned every other person in that match.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Every single person other than Bobby, because Bobby didn't get pinned. He got removed.
So do we know what his injury is?
I'm not honestly sure. I can see if it's on his page here anywhere, but let's see. He suffered a shoulder injury during his match at Royal Rumble. And then apparently it was severe enough that they needed to kayfabe an injury on screen, it looks like.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so apparently it's a shoulder injury.
Honestly, I hate when they have to kayfabe it. It's like they could have easily just been like, okay, look, we're going to vacate the championship, put somebody else who's a former champion in the chamber, and then just had the chamber for the title.
And then Brock could have pinned that person too.
Because honestly,
could have gone the whole same way.
Same way. And poor, I don't like when people get hurt like that because he could have further hurt himself.
Yeah, exactly. If he had that severe of a shoulder injury, why the fuck you putting him at risk for more damage?
Like this is the reason why guys like Punk did what they did and left the company when they did, because WWE doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, it might have been Lashley's, like, I want to go in this match because, Lashley seems like the tough son of a bitch who would want to do it. But true. Anyway, the WWE as a business should have been like, look, we can't have you risk that. Sorry.
No, yeah. I 100% agree. is ridiculous. But
now that fucking Lesnar's got the title, and now he's going up against Roman, now it's going to be title versus title at Mania in a unification match,
and what they're calling a winner take all unification match. So yeah, I want to get your thoughts on that because you brought that to my attention, and I know that you're not happy about it. So
I'm not happy about it because all it's going to do is they're going to create one championship belt again, and now we're going to have an already limited roster fighting over one fucking belt because that worked really great back before they brought the Universal Championship in. Back when they unified the World Heavyweight in the WWE, because that. Oh my god, I just don't fucking get it.
No, yeah, I totally understand. It's ridiculous. It's stupid in my opinion. I hate the idea of a unified title because who's it like? I feel like it's gonna be Roman. He's been on this run, this crazy run, right? And what would be a better way to like lift him even higher than to be like, well, now he's the undisputed unified champion.
Ooh, that's a great name for the belt.
Or
the undisputed universal champion.
Like, I feel like that's what they're gonna do. And then who the fuck is gonna beat him? He's been on this run.
So I had a moment the other day where I was talking about where if previous guys hadn't been let go by WWE, where things could go right now, and it still could go here because it would be fucking hilarious. But had WWE not gotten rid of Rusev when they did, with everything going on overseas right now, and I'm leaving the political side out of it, but with all that going on, this is where Rusev's time could have been like all that shit where he used to drop the big Putin banner and he used to be like, this is my friend Putin. This is the time where WWE should have put his strap on that man. And he could have been like, Vladimir Putin is my friend. He says me be WWE champion is a great thing. Long time. Spit on WWE. Puh! And then who beats him? His name is John Cena, because John Cena is the All-American.
It's true.
Or Jack Swagger, but
Yeah, no, nobody wants that.
But with Roman, okay, hear me out. With Roman, if they do this with Roman and they skyrocket Roman up that little bit more, this is where they got to bring The Rock in at that point.
Yeah.
Because then he gets all super cocky and he's all like, look at my bukkake. I'm the biggest thing there is in the WWE. I spit on everybody who's ever been a champion. And then he's like, fuck you. He's like, who's next? I beat Goldberg. I beat blah, blah, blah. I beat this guy. I beat that guy. Nobody's left. I'm the head of the table. And then The Rock comes in and he puts his foot down finally. And he's like, look, you wouldn't be the head of the table if I wasn't the head of the table before you.
It's true. How long do you think let's say they're going to go that route. Let's just for hypothetical sake, say it will be The Rock to take him down. How long is this going to go on before we even get to see that? Because I feel like it would have been better if it had been during WrestleMania.
Oh, man, it would have been great if it would have been during WrestleMania. But, at this point, who fucking knows?
So, how long is it going to take to get to that point? Will he have it for another year? You know what I mean?
Not. I really hope not.
Or will it be at, SummerSlam or something? Because,
well, ask yourself
that's the next big one.
Is there anybody right now on the roster who could step up to somebody like Roman Reigns and beat him and make it look good and be the guy who beat the unbeatable? No.
Probably not, no.
Because as of right now, WWE has booked themselves into a corner. Yeah. Roman is this pillar that can't be touched. The few times he's been close or to bring up things that have happened, think about his last man standing match with Kevin Owens. Remember when he got handcuffed to the scaffolding?
Yep.
They stopped a 10 count because, God forbid, Roman couldn't lose. Oh, no.
And they did the fucking same thing at this event with Goldberg.
Yep.
With the handcuffs.
And that's what I'm saying.
And and not doing the count with him having his hand on the rope.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like all these small things keep adding up. And it's like, okay, so now you're going to need somebody who can like come in and go up against Roman and be a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it be somebody like, I don't want to see Stone Cold have to come back and be that guy. Because there's rumors he's going to be at WrestleMania fighting Kevin Owens.
There's rumors like that, not Sting, I almost said Sting, that Undertaker might come out of retirement for something. I'm like, no, I don't want that. Like,
so if it was going to be one of those moments where you're going to bring a legitimate superstar and you're going to have them beat him, I would have said it could have been somebody like an Adam Cole, but Adam Cole left the company.
Yeah.
I would say it could be somebody like a Tommaso Ciampa, but they've got Ciampa feuding with Dolph Ziggler right now.
Which to me shows that they don't really think he's high caliber anymore.
Ciampa?
Yeah.
Ciampa's always said he didn't want to come up to the main roster anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think he would want to be up there feuding with somebody like Roman.
I doubt it.
Now, there is one guy on the roster still who has the potential to be the upset, and it could be almost like a Becky Lynch thing, but it could be like he gets his ass handed to him and just happens to get a fluke win.
Okay.
And you're going to hate me when I say this. Braun Breaker.
I mean, that's interesting. That would be a hell of a way to push him.
And that's it. It would be that John Cena moment. Yeah. You've got this rookie fucking kid. He's going to be a fucking later on superstar. Everybody already knows it. His uncle, his daddy, both fucking big names in wrestling.
Yeah.
Imagine WWE is just like, Roman, we've run out of guys for you. You can handpick an opponent. And he's like, I want the NXT champion. I want to teach that little punk a lesson. Show him why I'm the head of the table and he's NXT. And he literally abuses the kid the whole fucking match. Yeah. And then Braun Breaker just happens to get out like the fucking lift into the fucking power slam and pins Roman. It's a fluke moment. 1, 2, 3. And like everybody's just like, oh my God. And Roman gets up and he's like, what? And instantly jumps up and goes, boom! And he's like, that's my championship. You don't get my championship. And he picks it up and walks away anyway. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be upset about that.
Exactly. It would be the feel-good moment where Roman could still be the monster heel. He got lucky. He caught me at that one moment. My shoulder was up. Ref's like, your shoulder wasn't up. He's like, my shoulder was up. They go through like weeks of it. Braun gets his rematch. Roman goes over him anyway, but still.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would not be. Actually, now I kind of want that.
I'm telling you, there's not many guys on the roster right now who could
legitimately
step up to Roman and be.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You've got your yesteryear guys like Sheamus. I mean, you got your Dolph Ziggler.
Like a Randy Orton, you know what I mean?
Orton. Like, even Orton, though, I don't see Orton being like. This is going to sound really bad because I mean, Orton is a legend at this point. Randy Orton isn't big enough currently to beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I get it. What if they built a storyline to where Orton wanted to bring back the Legend Killer? Because Roman has kind of built himself into a legend at this point.
Oh no, you're 100%.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
I could see something like that. That could be interesting.
I'm not gonna lie. You know how a funny way to do that would be. You know how like they've been teasing the split between him and Riddle anyway.
Yeah.
Riddle's in the ring and he's like, "Yeah, me and Randy, we're gonna be tag team champions again. We're gonna do this." And Orton's just kind of like standing there, and he's like, "Cause me and Randy, we're the top of the tag team division." And Randy's like, "No." And as Riddle turns, he's like, boom! And he's like, you've been holding me back. I used to be a heavyweight champion, not a tag team guy. and like just snaps, and that's what brings back vintage Orton.
You know what? I want all this stuff to happen.
Here's one more thing I want.
Come on, WWE, you're shitty writers. You got one sitting right here, right over here. He could just
talk to me.
It's called Gold, motherfuckers.
Goldberg. Who's next?
Not Goldberg.
Listen, if we're gonna go through title unifications, there's certain things I want for each one. I want to see certain titles stick around. Like if we're gonna get rid of the United States or the IC, get rid of the hideous IC, keep the United States at this point. Unless you're gonna
I feel like the IC title has more prestige than the US title.
Oh, it does.
You know?
It absolutely does.
So I honestly don't touch those. But the problem that I see here, if they're willing to unify the two men's titles, then they're definitely going to reunify the women's titles.
Probably the tag titles too.
It's gonna happen. But, I wouldn't be shocked if they do.
Tag division is shit anyway at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least it'll give more tag teams opportunity to go for gold because there'll be less championship to go for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's the same can be said for like the women's tag division. Those belts are getting fucking misused a lot lately. Yeah, and there's been a lot of talk
that they've only got, a handful of fucking women in the division anymore.
Well, it's part of it. Like they're slipping that women's division right back to like yesteryear. We're getting dangerously close to like Divas era, like fucking worthy again. Women are getting shit matches. Women are getting, not to mention, you've got shitty Charlotte Flair still holding a title.
Yeah. There are so many, like, even though they have a limited roster, there are still many other viable options than her.
For him.
Yeah. And that brings us into the main part of this show, our main topic, Major League Wrestling and its lawsuit against the WWE. It's some crazy stuff going on here.
Dude, this is fucking huge.
Yeah, so about a month ago, this lawsuit got filed. It's insane the amount of stuff that they're kind of accusing the WWE of. Suppressing their ability to merchandise and to get time with other with other like televised companies. Like apparently they had a deal brewing with Tubi, which is owned by Fox, and they were also they had stuff on Vice TV that was being shown.
Oh no shit!
And apparently WWE tried to get Vice to take them off. And eventually they did. Eventually Vice dropped MLW from their station and Tubi backed out of their deal. So I want to get your thoughts on all this crazy shit that's going on with them and how you think it could affect wrestling future.
So me and you were talking about this, like we talked about this when we first talked about making this topic.
Yeah.
And this is huge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that trickles off from this and makes like these really what if timelines. Because like you said, like WWE's like telling people like don't put these people here, like don't become a venue for this place.
Yep.
Don't take certain talent. WWE
apparently they're also interfering with competitors' contracts.
Yes,
because they're telling people that if you work for MLW, you will never work for the WWE. So like some of their talent has even asked for their release, early release, so that they could instead go and work for the WWE.
Well, think about this. David Hart Smith Jr. was working for MLW and all of a sudden stopped working for them and was back in the WWE just long enough to like make his appearance and then got fired by the WWE again.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's really fucking shitty WWE. Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
I feel like they did that just to send a message to MLW. Like, we can take your guys even if we don't want them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was very derivative of the promo where DX was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Billy's like, I can say whatever I want to say. And Hunter's like, if you don't think Vince will buy that pissant little company just to fire you again.
Yeah.
Like, just putting this out there, Vince has deep pockets. If you don't think Vince will buy a company just to fire everybody, you're fucking wrong. Vince doesn't give a fuck about people. Vince gives a fuck about himself.
He cares about money. Hence the reason they're still doing those Saudi Arabia shows.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
apparently the Saudi Arabia shows that they have done in the last few years that they've been doing them have grossed more revenue than every WrestleMania combined.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts to think about that.
It's shitty, though, because at the same time, it's like, every time I think of like anything that's going down with the WWE currently, I'm like, man, there's so much talent that has been like cut, so much talent that is asked for release. Mustafa Ali asked for his release, and they denied it.
Yep.
Like they were like, nah, we can't let you go. Sorry. Yeah. And then it was like Brian Kendrick asked for his release. He got released. And then everything for that poor dude went to shit really fast with that.
Yeah.
But it's like this lawsuit can change so much shit. I will say this. I know I said it when we first talked about this. This lawsuit could essentially be the end of the WWE as we know it.
Yeah, I mean, it could. Absolutely. There's a lot of implications in this. If the courts side with MLW, like that's going to hit the WWE really hard.
Absolutely.
You know? Because this isn't just like little stuff. We're talking like antitrust shit.
Yeah.
You know, monopoly shit. Like those are some big charges, man.
And it's not like there's not enough support out there. Like this was obviously a well thought out lawsuit. And guys like CM Punk, they threw their shade at the WWE when they left the company originally.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you've got guys who have left the company and thanked Vince, like Matt Cardona currently.
Yeah.
He has not shit on Vince once for being let go. He was pissed off about it, but even he said straight out, the WWE was his territory to train himself. He learned everything he needed to know there. He left the company, and since then, Matt Cardona has showed the world he is a top-tier performer anywhere he goes.
That is true.
Now, sadly, for other people, though, other people don't get that ability. Like, Cardona was never a main eventer in WWE.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. Some of these people don't get the fucking opportunities because they're fucking buried. Look at Dolph Ziggler. What separates Dolph Ziggler from Zack Ryder? Not a damn thing. Yeah. They're both great performers. Both of them have great looks. Both of them are very unique performers.
And I guarantee you, if Dolph Ziggler was somewhere else, he would flourish.
Now, I don't know much about Major League Wrestling. Like, I want to. Everything I've heard about them, they're great. I've heard they've got a great roster. I've heard they've got, like, exceptionally well done matches. I've heard a lot of their product comes off looking very like well done. But I really want to see WWE crumble a little bit. Even if it doesn't bring them down all the way. I want to see them get like that fucking 7-10 split and be like, oh fuck, now what do we do?
Oh yeah. I was reading something. I can't find it again, but it said that WWE had like used footage from MLW at some point, and like they had asked them to like take it down or stop, and they just refused to. It's like shit like that where Vince just doesn't care. He thinks he can literally do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And you remember, like, I feel like it was like a year ago where Vince put down his foot and said, you guys can't do anything outside of WWE without permission.
Yeah, like no Twitter, no.
And that's one of the big things that MLW is kind of putting into their lawsuit. I have a quote here. It says, WWE has been wrongfully depriving its competitors of critical opportunities for years, as well as its roster but the latest conduct has been even more unconscionable. And they deprive their wrestlers of opportunities,
Well, it's because WWE doesn't look at their wrestlers as wrestlers.
That's true.
They've said it for years. They're independent contractors.
Mm-hmm.
But the bullshit thing about that is, and this is one of the things MLW has pointed out, if they're independent contractors, why can't they go work elsewhere?
Yeah, exactly.
Because an independent contractor, it means you
have the ability to go and work at other places. Yeah. I have been an independent contractor before. You are not beholden to one company when you are.
Because, essentially making somebody sign a contract.
You are your own boss is what it really is. Yeah.
But making somebody sign a 100% exclusive contract that you are WWE's property is taking away the label of being an independent contractor.
I'm hoping that at the minimum, this lawsuit will force the WWE to do away with those fucking independent contractor contracts.
A lot of the guys,
it's such bullshit.
You'll hear it from a lot of the talent. Like, I don't know. I like to believe that I can speak to the people that are listening, and you guys know a little bit more about wrestling than like the basic fan level. But if you don't, the basic people who like don't make much money, like the guys who have to pay for their own travel and shit, a lot of them carpool, a lot of them bust together.
The C and D listers.
Yeah. And it sucks because like there's so many of these guys that like they don't see their families much and they're on the road and like
they're on the road like 250 to 300 days a year.
Yeah.
They're not getting health insurance.
And like I said, they got to pay for their own travel. Yeah. So they travel with other guys so that they can cut down the expense a little bit.
Yeah.
But that shit sucks because sometimes like they're jumping from like city to city and there's like big distances in between. Yeah. That shit sucks. Plus they got to pay for food and not every guy is a John Cena where they're getting free limos and free jets and like
not everybody's a John Cena who was, making $3 million a year at the height of his career.
Yeah. Yeah. So that shit sucks, and hopefully this lawsuit can help rectify parts of that.
Yeah.
I really hope that this can like kick WWE and Vince in the balls and be like, start treating your people better, man.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead, finish.
This isn't the first time people have stepped up against these contracts either, because I know Raven way back in the day, him and a couple guys stepped up about the whole independent contractors and intellectual property.
Oh yeah,
because like guys will develop these gimmicks and then the WWE is like, well, we own those gimmicks. Well, okay, you might own the gimmick, but you don't own me. So it's like when they fired Chelsea Green. She was wrestling under her real name, and they're trying to tell her she can't take that. It's like, who the fuck are you? That's her birth name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I 100% feel that wrestling needs to be unionized.
That is a topic for another day.
Yeah. So,
but I 100% agree that I think unionization in professional wrestling would be a great thing for these guys.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of talks and ways that like it'll hurt the wrestlers, but I think honestly it'll help more than it'll hurt.
Yeah.
And it's a lengthy process to get it there, but
so what do you think the ramifications for this, good or bad, may be on other companies or as wrestling as a whole?
Honestly, I think there will be a lot of ramifications, but not to. I think WWE will get hurt the worst because they're the only ones that are really monopolizing wrestling.
Yeah,
you figure when Vince bought out WCW back in like 2001, he had no competition. Like there was nobody else at the time who could even like potentially like hurt him.
Yeah,
and then TNA started in like I think it was like 2004. 2002, 2004.
Yeah, right around that time, man.
And it's like, okay, TNA took a while to like get its upbringing, but by like 2006, when they really hit their prime, WWE was like, they're not the enemy.
Yeah,
we can beat them, and that was really the way WWE looked at it. TNA was nothing at the time, And then TNA started getting a little bit bigger, and WWE was like, there's still nothing. And then, you get the shift back and forth. WWE guys jump over there. TNA guys jump back to WWE. I think the big thing that really put a sour taste in Vince's mouth was in like 2007-ish when VKM really took the shot at DX.
The Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Yeah, and do you remember when they called DX out and were like, they didn't even call them out by their gimmick names. They called them out by their real names. Like they were like, we want Paul Levesque and Michael Hickenbottom, and we're going to put up $1 million, and we'll go to a undisclosed third-party location that it's neither TNA or WWE, and we want a legit fight with them.
Yeah, I remember we talked, it was a while back, but we did a news story about Triple H was talking about how there was a time where he legitimately feared for his life because during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think that was when finally Vince was like, okay, enough of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that was right around the time where Impact started having a lot of financial problems. And they started having... So I wouldn't doubt that Vince did something behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, think about it. Jeff Jarrett pulled out of Impact. And they started going through all that shit that happened. And then it was like, oh, well... Jeff Jarrett's running the company, but he's not running the company. And Jerry Jarrett's helping. Oh, but no, he's not anymore. Now Dixie Carter bought the company. Oh, wait, no, Billy Corgan's running the company. Oh, but we fucked Billy Corgan over. So Billy Corgan doesn't even fucking care about the company.
Yeah.
And now he's working with NWA.
And then they started, like, a bunch of people just started jumping ship at that time, too, and going back to the WWE or going in general over to the WWE. Yeah.
And that's my point. So, like,
wild,
WWE has the monopoly. So I think they're going to be the ones who hurt. I think it will hurt some other places a little bit here and there, but.
Do you think any of the other companies will join the lawsuit?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm surprised that we haven't kind of seen any of that happen yet.
I will say this. I don't know if you'll see companies join. But I think you're going to see a lot of the workers and wrestlers and superstars stand up.
Okay.
I mean, you figure there are a lot of guys like CM Punk who voiced their grievances after like they left. And they were like CM Punk is one of the biggest ones to come to mind where he was like, I wrestled with a staph infection. It almost killed me. And the WWE was just like, oh, let's keep steroiding him. Let's keep steroiding him. Yeah. Think about guys like I said before, I know it was pretty sure it was Raven, Canyon, and there was one other guy who they went for the intellectual property and were trying to get the whole independent contractor thing taken away then. So it's really, do guys want to risk their careers and stand up? Or do guys who don't have careers want to make 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah, that is a good point. So I feel like no matter what, it's going to be interesting. Keep an eye. We're going to be keeping an eye on this no matter what happens. I guess WWE has until like May 5th or March 5th to respond. March 5th to respond. And they're supposed to have some sort of, like their lawyers are supposed to have some sort of sit down in April, I guess. So this is going to be going on for a bit. But if more comes up, we'll bring it to you guys.
Well, me and you were talking about it too, and I was saying, I guarantee you WWE is going to try and like get it into some kind of like litigation where like
settle it.
Yeah, settle it outside of court because WWE is not going to want to have to get drugged down. Like they know that.
I just don't know if MLW is willing to go through all of this in the first place. I don't know. I don't think they're in it for just here's a settlement of money. No. Like it's way more than that.
Oh yeah.
So
it's not about a settlement for them.
I hope that they don't settle if that's the case. I really hope that they hold out and make fucking WWE pay for it in other ways.
Yes.
So yeah. You had anything else that you wanted to say on the topic?
No, I think that's pretty much well said.
All right. Well, folks, this has been episode 37 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. John, where can the people find you?
Well, usually you can hop on at Twitter. Find me at Simply Saying J1. I have a podcast and a blog that goes right along with it. Check it out if you want to. It can be entertaining sometimes, probably daunting to others, but I find it downright inspiring.
That's right. You are inspiring, my friend. You are inspiring. And you can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. As well as right down here at Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog. And be sure to follow us right here on Off the Ropes with John and Josh at Off the Ropes JJ on the Twitters.
We are on all social media at Off the Ropes JJ.
That's right. It's just a blanket.
Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Patreon.
Yeah, man. Anchor.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I knew I was forgetting one.
Leave us some voice messages on Anchor, man. It'd be a good time.
Yes. Leave us a voice message. We will play it here on air. If you were listening to us on Apple Podcasts or any of that awesome place where we might be, leave us a 5-star review. We'll read that on air.
That's right.
You know what? You leave us a 1-star and you tell us why we suck, and I'll come to your house to kick your ass.
There it is. A special in-person visitation by one Johnny Storm.
If you get bored and you want to find some interesting shit, go on over to his YouTube page, Merc with the Movie Blog, where he does a lot of cool things like trailer reviews, and he does this and that. He's really big into the Schmodown.
Yes.
You guys want to know some Schmodown knowledge? This man's probably got it.
What? If you like movie and TV, join me there. Speaking of TV, check out our other show that we do together, Last Call at McLaren's, where we break down episodes of How I Met Your Mother every week, episode by episode. We're just going through the whole show, as well as How I Met Your Father when that comes out.
Every Monday and every Friday.
Yes.
Mother's Monday, Father's Friday.
That's right. It's a good time. Be sure to check us out. I think that's all I got for him. You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Well, this has been episode 37 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. And we are down for the count. Catch you guys next time.